That's right. Back at it again. Full custom hot dog here. And we're doing a little movie review. We're going to be talking about Blood Machines. Little movie that's on Shudder. I call it a movie. It should be a movie. It's 3 parts that are about 20 minutes in length, an hour. Just be an hour movie. I don't get it. And they don't. Okay. I'll be doing some venting here. These 3 parts also aren't acting as vignettes. They're not separate stories. They are very much interconnected continuations of whatever happened before it. Blood Machines, according to the website for Blood Machines, is a sequel to the music video Turbo Killer. I just kind of went through that, and yeah, I guess I could see that. They're similar. According to the website, the story is 2 space hunters are tracking down a machine trying to free itself. After taking it down, they witness a mystical phenomenon. The ghost of a young woman pulls itself out of the machine, as if the spaceship had a soul. Trying to understand the nature of this entity, they start chasing the woman through space. It's a pretty cool idea. There are some very cool ideas expressed here. However, it falls a little short for me. So if you don't know what this is kind of anticipated by a lot of people, and I think that is mostly due to Carpenter Brute. Carpenter Brute has a pretty, I want to say, big fan base. It seems like a lot of people know him, are familiar with him, even people who aren't into retro wave type stuff. And I don't like a lot of retro wave stuff, even though I've been told the music I make is similar. That's because a lot of it sounds the same to me, and Carpenter Brute stands out, and they're probably one of the better acts of the genre, in my opinion. I'm probably going to get some hate for this episode for various things, should anyone watch it, of course. That's okay. We're on YouTube, right? That's why we're here. Anyway, so yeah, Carpenter Brute, soundtrack, sci-fi movie, 80s aesthetics, cool CG, slick look. I just broke all of that down. And that's kind of what you should expect here. This is very style over substance. And to me, it's borderline, I don't want to sound rude, but for me, it's borderline a nothing burger. And I say that because, yes, you've got some great aesthetics, and the CG looks good, but the direction's a little flat. And what that means, at least to me anyways, as someone who's attended guerrilla film school, and by that means watched too many commentaries, is a lot of it's shot like a fighting game. There should be a lot more dynamic shots in something like this, and really have it take its time with everything. I almost wish something like this would have felt a little bit more like Nicholas Winding Refn, or something that's a bit more contemplative. You know, just something that's a little bit more into itself, maybe a little bit more full of itself. The soundtrack doesn't always fit here either, and I'm sure Carpenter Brute did the soundtrack for it. I wonder if they kind of did it in a score-like fashion, or if they were like, yo, director, Seth Ickerman, here's some tracks, now make your movie. I don't think it always fits. I think there's some real room here in something like this for dynamics, in terms of the direction and the storytelling. There's some great ideas here where these AIs can kind of become female ghosts, and that sort of hits a huge point at the end where it gets a little wild with this witch. These 2. I saw one thing. Was it what I just read where they call them? Someplace called them Blade Runners. I mean, okay, yeah, we get it. 80s sci-fi. Are chasing these wrecks. Yeah, and then there's also this priestess lady involved. One thing that is I don't care for, there's all this imagery of the upside down crosses, which I'm not a religious person, right? But that is very much something that's ingrained in our society. The upside down cross is very much us. I mean, just we know it. It's a familiar symbol, but it doesn't seem to have a context here. There's no mention of these things being like some kind of cursed machines or any kind of other Catholic symbolism. At least maybe nothing that I'm getting, which is fine. I tend to not pick up on a lot of stuff, so that's okay. So if there is an in-world explanation for that, I'd like to know, because that kind of pulled me out of it too, where it's just like, okay, we're just doing aesthetics for aesthetics' sake. And if that's the case, then I'd rather have you go all the way. Why not just make somebody Ronald McDonald robot, and have a ghost come out of that? Stuff like that. Like, why not just take all of the symbolism that we know of and just cram it in there if we just care about aesthetics over story, I guess. And maybe that's one of the harder parts, or one of the things I don't necessarily like about this, is the story. It's kind of barren, and there's a lot you can do with this premise. It almost feels Fifth Element-y, like it almost could be in the same world, almost. So I almost wish that was fleshed out, and I think you either go two ways with it. You either take it all the way and just make it rich in story and whatnot, or you remove all that story, pure aesthetics, and push the soundtrack even harder. And I think those were kind of the best ways to do it. And so it just sort of falls flat to me. I see a lot of people love this. If you love it, that's great. I think I watched it 1.5 times. The visuals are really cool. Their CG stuff's really cool, but again, it's just not quite enough for me to be able to give it a full recommend and say, dude, you have to see this. This is fine. This is fine mid-afternoon watching, but it's nothing groundbreaking, I don't think. It's solid. There's some cool, I mean, you can see in the slideshow, I found some pictures that I took from Google. I love the robot design a lot. That robot was a nice mix of creepy. It looked like a little homage to the Italian film Demons, too, in the eyes there. Ship design is cool. There's a lot of great things here. The way the lasers work, this dude has a laser gun, the main character, Vaskin, played by Anders Heinrichsen. A lot of people who I'm not familiar with are in this, by the way. But he's got this laser that fires like a rail of beam and will sit there for a bit. And I liked that. There's things that are very unique here that I almost wish would have been explored more to get a real taste of this type of universe. Make it more than just flashy 80s aesthetic. And that's kind of the thing right now. I think we're kind of getting to the tail end of the 80s aesthetic days, but I don't know. What do you think? You let me know in the comments. Like I said, a lot of people love it. The music, while I didn't think it necessarily fit, is on point. Carpenter Brute always delivers. So like I said, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm always curious to know. I have my opinions, of course, but what are yours? Anyways, I am Full Custom Hot Dog. You can follow me on Twitter. It's Full Custom Hot Dog without the last O, because it's just too long for Twitter. And until next time.